Hello, hello, hello. Get set up here. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. Today's topic is one that's near and dear to my heart. It's one of my most favorite subjects of all, mostly because it's awarded me my greatest growth and development in my own life. Today's topic is awareness, and it is your superpower. That when you become aware, in the beginning, it allows you to be humble enough to see your mistakes. It allows you to see your vulnerability. It allows you to see all those things in you that you don't normally want to look at or take the time to even explore. And at a greater level, it allows you the courage to own, to admit your mistakes, to acknowledge your errors, to apologize for wrongdoings. That takes true courage and vulnerability, but it takes awareness to take you there. And at an even higher level, it brings you the wisdom enough to correct the past, to set forth a new standard, a new pattern, a new level of integrity for yourself, to step into a higher version of you that is beyond your past, knowing you're not limited by your past. Awareness in the beginning looks like a skill, and I express it in the book as it being a skill because a skill you have to practice often, right? To master it, to get good at it. And awareness is just like that. You've got to come into that field of awareness often to really get the benefits that it has to bring you. So I want to share that awareness is one of those things that really isn't a skill. After you become proficient at it, it's a field, it's a state, it's a consciousness, I call it a field of awareness is basically you being present in this now moment, without the past, without the future, really, truly present and observing this now moment. One of the greatest abilities that awareness brings us is the ability to step into the observer role. And I talk about this in the book, and I'm going to be reminding you of it throughout the book because most of us don't frequent that observer role very often, but it's really from that observer role that we have the ability to monitor, master, and manage, or to monitor, manage, and master ourselves, our actions, our behaviors, our direction, our focus, our productivity, our how we show up in relationships, how we communicate, how we listen to others. Are we listening to really hear them and understand them? Or are we really listening just to respond, just to add our 2 cents? And they're 2 totally different energies. And believe it or not, the receiver, the one you're listening to, can sense and feel whichever energy you bring forth. So there are no secrets to life. We think we have private moments and secrets, and our energy presents itself before us. Before we even come into a room, we sense the energy in that room. Our energy also comes forth before us. I love the work done by the Heart Math Institute because they've shown that your heart can sense and feel before your eyes and ears deliver the deliverables to the brain for the brain to send the understanding through your system. as knowledge or understanding. It's powerful when we think about it. Awareness is a real superpower. When you start to harness it, when you start to put forth that powerful energy and bring it into all that you do, that will grow you beyond your wildest imagination, beyond your expectations, right? Let me grab a sheet of paper here real quick because I wrote out some things I really want to make certain I don't forget to share with you. Oh, I had already grabbed it. All right. I told you that awareness I start out sharing it with you in the book as a skill, but it's way more than a skill. It's this present moment. And it's a powerful state of being that you reside in. And in that state of being present in this now moment, you're not bringing your thoughts about what you know or what you expect. If you're meeting with someone from work, you're not bringing their behavior last week present into your thoughts this moment. You're being present in this now moment, allowing them to show up anew in this now moment without your past memory of them. This is a real challenging thing for individuals to do, especially when we've crafted an opinion about someone, when we see their behavior over and over and over again, and we don't want to let it go because we have a judgment about it. We don't like it. We don't care for it. It rubs us the wrong way or doesn't set well inside us. And it's those things. It's that memory of expecting it to show up again that actually allows it to come forth again for you. But when you actually wipe the slate clean and really come present in this now moment, you give everyone permission to show up in their highest and best version of themselves. Don't believe me. Try it. Put on an experiment. And don't just let one day be your full results. Try it for a couple weeks over and over and start monitoring and measuring the results that you get, because they will truly amaze you. They will surprise you. They will delight you beyond your wildest expectations. So I had a couple questions come in on this one prior to, and I love when you all ask questions, because to me, this is how we really, really grow. And there are no stupid questions. Believe me, we all share the collective views on all of this. We're products of our environment, and how you think, how I think, we all share that same basic underlying thinking. So your question is probably going to answer questions for so many others. So I do want to get to all the questions. If you have any questions and you're live on this call, please put them in the comment box or the chat box with a big capital letter Q before your questions so that I can find them easily when I scroll through later. So when we have lack of awareness, certain things seem to be present in our behaviors. We could be defensive. If someone has a comment about us, we may have a need to defend ourselves and argue for our righteousness. So then we become reactive instead of responsive. We become aggressive and argumentative instead of being able to answer questions and respond naturally. Another thing that shows up when we have lack of awareness is we tend to blame others instead of looking to take responsibility. So I want to share with you just a few topics, and breaking awareness down into basically just 3 levels of a lack of awareness, an intermediate stage when you start to develop it and what you can expect at that level, and then a super high advanced level, because this book is written to take you forward and advance you no matter where you are on the spectrum. I have colleagues, coaches, trainers, guides, sitters, energy workers, mediums, intuitives that have read my book and been grown and moved by it. No matter where you are in your own personal growth, this book will advance you. Reading it alone will take you to new levels. As long as you're open, as long as you're receptive, right? If you come forward with blocks and a story that nothing can help you, that's what you get. Henry Ford said it best: if you think you can or you think you can't, you are correct. You're right. Because whatever you think, as within, so without, however you believe it to be in you, is what you will look for to see and validate in the world around you. Everything is shiftable, malleable, mutable, transformable. And all we need to do is have the ability to shift and transform. So a lack of awareness is the same energy of awareness. We can be in lack of it or greatness of it, right? In the early stages, we just aren't present. We're stuck in our own stories, limiting beliefs, and we can't see beyond them. But in an intermediate level, it looks like we're getting more present, more aware, and we're able to start to see our own blocks and limitations. We get to start to see the story we're telling. All the times we say, I can't, or I don't have the money, or I don't have the time. Every time we begin to limit ourselves, awareness will start to expand and show us. It's like it puts it up on this great big billboard and shining, bold, flashing lights in front of our face that we get to say, oh, I'm limiting myself. But from an advanced level, it takes you way beyond that, because now you craft the story that actually serves you. Have you ever heard, well, I know you have, so let's not even go there. RE, rework, relabel, reset, release, reprogram. RE means to go back or to do again. Okay, so if we reset something, we're going to set it anew. We're going to set it again. If we're going to reboot ourselves, we're going to come back and do it again. We're going to boot up again. We're going to start from the beginning, right? If we're going to release something, we're going to release, let go, okay, again, okay? So I just want you to have a big awareness to these words that begin with RE, because awareness really is the tool that allows you to reset, to reboot your entire system, to release old thinking, old programs, old beliefs. Until you know you've got a belief that doesn't serve you, you don't know what's holding you back. And awareness is the key. It's the real component. That's why I call it your superpower. It seriously becomes that key component that catapults you forward into the grandness and greatness of actually being able to reprogram you. Our devices get updates very frequently. When was the last time you gave yourself an update, a reprogram, a boost to the current programming? This book is that invitation. So if you're listening, if you haven't bought the book, if you haven't gotten on the website and subscribed to the book club, I'm telling you, this is my gift to you, as this is the early stages of the book hitting the market. It launched on July 27th. I've committed to all of August and all of September, anybody picking up the book, I've invited you to join me in the book club, which is 29 weeks. That's 7 months of reprogramming, folks. You're guaranteed to get results. I promise you. but I've invited you into it with my gift. If you go and you subscribe to the book club and you pick the pay in full option, put in coupon code with love, all lowercase, all one word, no space, with love, LOVE, with love, you'll get in for $1. I'll gift you the balance of that membership. So this is a no-brainer. Get the book, get the workbook companion, and get in on the book club, because this will be your reboot. It'll be your reset. It'll be your opportunity to release the old programming. If you're not where you want to be in life, if you take an evaluation and you look at where am I in my life and how happy am I with the results I'm getting in your health and well-being? Are you struggling with an illness? Are you recovering from something right now? Or are you healthy, vibrant, alive, and thriving? Because you can be. You can be. And here's my invitation to you, because I want you to be. I'm 64 this year. I take no drugs, no medications. I have no illnesses. I have no problems or underlying conditions that prevent me from thriving physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. And that's what I want to invite you to take ownership of for yourself. This is a journey, and we don't get there in a day, but releasing old patterns, old stories. You know, it's funny. I too was diagnosed with many things in my past and cleared myself from an autoimmune disorder of lupus and healed from 3 back surgeries and a grand mal seizure, when the prognosis was I would never be 100%. That you don't get to heal from those things. You bring them on into old age, and the symptoms get worse. You'll forever be in back pain. It's not my story. And it doesn't have to be your story. Whatever you believe is what will come into your reality. And whatever's in your reality today doesn't have to be your future reality. Don't believe me. Go out there and explore all the other people who are healing from cancer. Dr. Joe Dispenza's clients, patients, subscribers. You know, Dr. Joe was one of my mentors early on when I went to one of his first workshops when they were I think it was a 4-day workshop. They're now up to 7 days and longer, because the work he does, he realized most people can't get in just 3 or 4 days. They just get to owning it in that 3 or 4 days. But he wants to get you there so that you can practice and master it longer, so you can bring yourself back to that state of being again and again and again to get the real results. And that's why this book club is 29 weeks long. Okay, so when we talk about resetting, rebooting, releasing, reprogramming, you first have to be able to review, to reevaluate where you are, and then remember and recall those times when you have pushed through, when you have mastered through. You know, every one of us came into the world not walking, but most of us became walkers. It didn't happen overnight. It took time. We watched others walk. We got courage to stand up and balance. We held on to things first. We took 1 step, 2 steps, 4 steps. We fell down over and over and over again before we mastered walking. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to be there with you every step of the way. And you're going to be in a group of others, all on the same journey. Do you know what happens when we enter into a group? I love this because, one, it was shared in the Bible. You know, when Jesus said, when 2 or more gather in my name, right? Spirit gifts us with all that we need. Napoleon Hill talked about it in his book, Think or Grow Rich, and 16 Levels of Success. When he talked about the level of a mastermind group, when 2 or more gather with the same intention, you're gathering with the same intention, the intention to know yourself, grow yourself, to live life empowered. the intention to bring your spiritual intelligence fully on board in you in all areas of your life. When we come together with others and share the same intention, our results are magnified. They're 10x'd. They're quantified. We take quantum leaps forward. Each and every one of you will be having great success, and we'll be celebrating you every step of the way. Awareness is that one skill that gives you the power to reframe your old stories, to reword, rework, and rephrase things, to see them in new light, through new lenses. And it isn't until you expand your awareness that you're able to see things in a bigger picture, to see that when you crafted that story as a young child, you didn't have the full picture. You didn't have the full understanding of what was going on in someone else's reality and how it affected you and how you perceived it and took it personally and felt unloved or rejected or abandoned. And you didn't have the full view of their incapability of modeling what you needed. And we're all on this journey at our own level. Everybody's on their own personal journey. Your uniqueness is so unique and specific to you. No one can compete with you, but you're not a victim in your story either. Awareness lets us see that we are the star. We are the main actor or actress in our story of our life, in our journey here as Donna Lee. I'm the star. I'm the star of my own journey. So you're the star of your journey, and you're not a victim. Some of us get diagnosed with things that we do feel like a victim in our own reality. And I'm here to tell you you're not, but it takes you starting to shift that mindset first and foremost before you can see beyond it. So let me share with you just a few things that as you open up to awareness, in the beginning, you might be unhappy, you might be depressed, you might be dissatisfied in many areas of your life, right? That's lack of awareness. As you begin to become more aware, you realize you have a role that no one can make you. No one and nothing makes you feel unhappy without you saying yes, without your permission. So looking at our own role in all of this allows us to see what it came to bring us, the gifts, the silver lining, if you will, because there is a silver lining if you look for it. Everything is just energy. And I'm going to bring this up often because it's our greatest growth. When we can see it as energy, and from awareness, we can have a shadow aspect of lack of awareness, which is a sort of negative or limited perception of awareness, to an expanded perception of awareness, where we really do get to hold ourselves. And just for a minute, go with me on this. Imagine you're at the center of a circle. And imagine there's this big 360-degree circle all around you. Awareness lets you realize that every degree of that circle has a different perspective, a different opinion, a different viewpoint, a different ideology, a different belief system. And you get to choose which one feels good for you. I did get a question, and I'm gonna answer it now because it's so appropriate. It was from a current client who says, I know I've asked this many times and I still struggle with it. And she says, she's in my winner's circle, which, by the way, is an advanced level. Like after the book, if you really want to go deeper into this, the winner's circle is where you want to be. And it, again, is a peer group of leaders and executives and people moving themselves forward, moving the needle, pushing their comfort zone and growing beyond their current level of awareness, beyond their current conditions, and setting new standards for who they are and what they're here to bring forth and contribute. But her question was one that comes up often. How do I know, sitting in the center of my circle, looking out, that I have a 360-degree awareness circle all around me, showing me that there are 360 different, and there's way more than that, but let's just go with 360 because that's a lot of different viewpoints and points of view and perceptions to take in, right? How do I know which one is right? And this is where I invite you to experiment. You know which one is right by the one that feels good. And the one that feels good on all levels. It feels good for you and all parties involved. It creates a win-win for all. You see, your emotions are governed and guided by your higher self. So when it doesn't feel good, we get that knowing in our body, like a gut knowing or a sense of uncomfortableness, right? When we're in conflict with others, when we're in argument or disagreement with someone, when we've offended someone or hurt another person's feelings, we feel it too. We suffer with them. Why? So we can see what we've done and offer an apology. So we can make amends. So we can correct the situation. Oftentimes people get so stubborn in their discontent that they take it with them into life and they create boundaries that limit them from other people. I met a lady on a walk just the other day, and she said it's been 15 years since she's had a holiday with her family. And she's really vowed that this year she's going to show up, but she's afraid. And she's afraid she's not going to show up as well because she hasn't worked through what it's going to look like to do so. She hasn't mastered the new her that will show up in a changed version of herself. She hasn't forgiven them or herself. She hasn't taken ownership of it. And that's where we're all at in this awareness. Awareness is the greatest tool to grow us. It causes us to look at our own baggage, our own invisible wounds, those wounds we hold near and dear to our heart that actually limit us, but we keep hidden from others. And they're really not hidden because guess what? If you have them, your lack of engagement, your lack of involvement, your lack of participation, all these things that limit you from moving forward into your success are all showing up. So in some way, some small, little, subtle way, you're demonstrating them, you're sharing them with others, right? And they come out in how you talk and the stories you tell, right? When I share about my back surgeries, in the beginning, it was happening to me. The next level, it was happening for me. At an even higher level, it was happening through me. But at the highest level, it was really happening as me. And these are all the 4 levels of awareness that we walk ourselves through on the journey home. And awareness is, like I say, a superpower. I can't emphasize that highly enough. So unhappiness at the very early stages is lack of awareness. But at an intermediate stage and state, you realize you create your own happiness and you don't give your power away to let someone else tell you to be miserable, right? You don't be unhappy because it's raining today. Like, how many people do you know that don't even allow themselves to be happy on rainy days? They think just because the sun doesn't shine their happiness doesn't exist. And that's not true. Try it on. Your happiness is there for you, whether you believe it or not. You're blocking it by your thinking. Okay. And at a higher level, at the highest level, we're always centered in our true state of peace, of satisfaction, and our own power to choose our current state, right? Let me go into another one. The victim mentality. If you feel like you were overlooked for a job advancement, maybe you applied for a new position and you feel you were overlooked and you feel like you are a victim and they're out to get you and life doesn't go your way, you're really unlucky, whatever it is for you, right? We all have areas of life where, we need to work through not being a victim to something or someone or some reality. But lack of awareness is that victim mentality, right? The intermediate level is we realize that we're not a victim, that this situation has multiple sides to it. We stand in the center of our circle and we look at things from a 360-degree awareness so we can see, how else could I see this? What if this was happening for my best behalf? What am I here to grow through or into? What am I here to release, bring into my awareness, or advance through to step into a higher level of potential in my own life? And at a even higher level, it helps us to realize our greatness, our infinite nature, and the ability we have to transmute energy in a flash. In a flash. It doesn't mean that those thoughts of being a victim or triggers that pop in to tell you you're not worthy or they don't like you or whatever your story is, gets to shift and change in a moment, in a second. So at the advanced levels of awareness, we've already looked at this stuff and we know it's not true, but it's just one level of perception. So at the advanced level, you're able to hold two different perceptions in your awareness at the same time without an attachment or the lower vibrational energy shifting and taking you out of your current state of being. I hope that makes sense. And I hope I answered that question. That was a question for Shelley. So Shelley, if you're listening or listening on the replay, how you feel is the answer to that question. Sometimes we feel like we're thrown under the bus or we're in a situation where it's really difficult and challenging to get ourselves out of. And we never are. But it does take our awareness to be present in that moment and to recenter ourselves. And the first thing I say is don't respond from the high level of emotions that are in you. That's a reaction, right? Let that wave of emotions move through you before you collect your thoughts and have a response to something. No one says you have to respond right here, right now, in this moment. Sometimes the best response is, wow, I've just had a flood of ideas and messages come through my awareness. I'd love some time to process through what we've talked about and what's moving through me right now. Can I get back to you on that? So every one of us has the ability to take a pause. And I think that too is the biggest gift that awareness gives us, is when we're present in this now moment, that pause is our best friend. It allows you to recenter, to recalibrate, to recharge yourself, redeem yourself, to come back to whole, right? To come back to the center where you are in full power and have the awareness to see everything around you. But it also lets you receive, right? Like oftentimes we are the worst at receiving. We're great givers, but receiving something is sometimes a challenge for us. So awareness lets us see where we block our own receptivity. And most of us, if we're struggling with finances or friends or relationships, we struggle with receiving. We'll talk about this too if we go through the book club together. But the other greatest thing I really want to emphasize on here is that we're a collection of energies, right? Like we have this physical body as our transportation vehicle to move through this earth experience, but how are you feeding it? Because even that matters. From a low level of awareness, we don't even care how we feed it. We don't even think twice about it. We think all food is equal. And there's processed foods on the shelves in the stores that literally have no nutritional value for the body. No nutritional value. And I want to say it again and again, but I want to stop saying it because I don't want to sound like a broken record. From a low level of awareness, we eat poorly. From a higher level of awareness, we become aware that food does have nutritional value. And we also become aware of how we feel when we eat certain foods. We also become aware of where we're numbing ourselves out or eating unconsciously or drinking unconsciously, right? So we become aware of bad habits, food habits, where we're eating when we're not hungry or overeating or over drinking, okay? So awareness lets us be able to monitor and then manage and then fully at a higher level, master what we put in our body. And then we become able to fuel this system, this body, with the energy that it needs, with all of the potential to allow it to really thrive, to heal, to rejuvenate, to regenerate. So awareness gifts us so many things. And as we go through the book together, I'm going to be continually bringing awareness into everything. It's a theme that runs bold through the entire book. I tell you, it's your superpower because without awareness, you don't have the ability to monitor, manage, and master you and your growth. And this journey is all about you. And it is really all about you taking your power back. Stay with me. We got a couple more looks within the book before we get through the 6-day series that I'm presenting to you. Today's just day 3. I've got 3 more days with you. And I promise you, each and every one of them will be as powerful and as impactful as this one. Awareness is your best friend and your superpower. And I'm going to show you how to start stepping in to your ability to be more aware. When you get the book, join and get on my website and join a free membership for the book, where it's book resources and membership portal. And in there, I'm going to be sharing with you little meditations that help you to expand your awareness, right? Little gifts and tips and tricks and tidbits of information and resources that will take you further. And I'll have guests along the way that'll bring in other modalities that'll help expand your awareness to things you hadn't seen or hadn't been aware of before now. So here's to your greatness and here's to all your growth, because there is great joy on the other side of moving beyond the lack of awareness. When you truly have the ability to be aware, you step back into your power and you live your life from an empowered state. You no longer repeat the stories of I can't, right? You stop limiting yourself. You start telling new stories. You get to repattern, rephrase, rework, reword that story in a way that's truthful and basically serves your best behalf as well. So I welcome you to coming on board and going through this journey together. I look forward to seeing you on the other side.